Welcome to the Market My STR show, the show made exclusively for short-term rental owners and co-hosts that actually works, so you can stop wasting time and money on short-term rental and co-hosting marketing strategies that don't work. Listen in for tips, tricks, and our book solid, move the needle, and core 4 marketing strategies. Here's your host, Scott Hill.
Hey, welcome to the Market My STR podcast show. This is episode number 7, and we're here with Jeremy as usual because Jeremy is my partner in Altver, which is a co-host company that we're building essentially inside of the Market My STR account. And we say that clearly the entire business is not being built inside the Market My STR account, but when it comes to marketing, it really is. So we're building out our sales funnels, we're managing our content, we're building our email lists. We're doing a bunch of things that you might think of when you think of marketing any business, but in this case, our co-hosting business plus what will be our clients, what we say to clients, the rebooking sequences, all the strategies that are inside of Market My STR. So welcome, Jeremy.
Thanks, Scott. Happy to be here. Another week down.
Okay, so in this episode, what we like to do first, for those of you who are just joining us, we like to review kind of what we did last week, talk about what we're doing this week, and then sort of set the table for what we're going to do next week. And in what we did last week was we launched our first, what we call Connect campaign, which was a campaign that we launched as an objective to get people to start knowing who we are. We're ready. We have spent the last 6 to 8 months researching the market, learning the market, helping Jeremy transition from sort of his Poconos focused co-host business to opening up this market for us. And so really we are ready, Jeremy. I think it's great timing, but why don't you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, we're out in front of people at the right time. I think we mentioned this last week where this is really the transition time for people when they want to move from one property management company to another one or co-host. They just came out of peak season. There's probably frustrations. They want to make a change and they want to do it now so that they're actually ready for next peak season, which will start, next summer. Right. So you kind of need a little bit of a buffer there to build out your listing with the new company and get it to the right place where you're getting those peak bookings. So now's the time.
Anything you want to highlight on stuff you did last week, this past week?
I had to kind of reorganize my goals. I've had to do that the past couple of weeks. August has been a challenge. We kind of mentioned that previously, but really the one thing that I wanted to get done, which I did do to help try and move the needle, was post another Facebook ad. So I got that done yesterday. And I know you'll talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. And then the other thing too is the podcast, which we're doing, continue the STR secrets classes. I did that. And then the new thing that I've started, and we talked about this, was we currently use our Google Drive as our playbook, or essentially our knowledge hub. And we also have Monday, which is our project management tool. I've gotten really interested in Notion from watching a lot of other videos of people that are using it in their co-hosting business. I watched a few in STR Secrets that really captivated me, and I ended up signing up for a Notion class. There's a lot of people out there that are offering templates for a price, and then you can just hop in and start using it, but you don't actually know how to use Notion. So the course that I signed up for is a course that's fully in Notion, and it takes you from beginner to, an experienced Notion user. And the goal, it will be, once I get to the place that I feel comfortable enough to, one, use it and then be able to train you and train Kimmy in it, is to switch from Google Drive to Notion and potentially not need Monday.com, because we might be able to use Notion as a project management tool.
Yeah, very good. All right, so that's what you did last week. Now, for what we've been working on this week that's what we did this week. So What we want to talk about now is what did we accomplish this week? And this week we accomplished, and this is going to apply to Market My STR subscribers, but in general, short-term rental owners and hosts, and kind of how you make sure that you don't waste money. We learned some lessons. We had I don't think I would call it stupid tax. I think I would call it education tax
Yeah,
on learning
absolutely.
something, because we wasted some money. If we're being technical about it, now that we know, I guess it can be considered.
It was, we lost some money and some time, right?
Yeah, we lost some money and some time. We probably got a few people,
Yeah.
but here's what happened. So last Friday we launched our first campaign, awareness campaign. Some people call it awareness campaigns. We call it a connect campaign. The idea is to create awareness, have people know who we are in the market, that we want people to know who we are, homeowners and vendors and real estate agents.
Right.
So
All
we
the people we
created
skip traced that we talked about last
people
week.
we skip traced. Yes, people who we skip traced and threw up as a custom audience inside Facebook. Our intent was to create a connect campaign and only advertise to that list. And that list is about 2,000 people and sub lists of that list. So Jeremy can speak to that in a second, but those are the only people we wanted to market to. Now, when we created our campaign, this is what we learned this week. When you create a campaign, you have to turn off Advantage Plus audience targeting. We didn't do that. We added our custom audiences and we launched our ads and we started seeing results. We were starting to get excited about those results. But where we have benefited the most together, I think, in building our business from scratch is being part of an accountability group or a mastermind group with two guys we're going to have on as guests here in the near future. And that's where we got a lot of leverage today, Jeremy, and maybe you can
Yeah.
speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. So just to say, turning off that feature though is really specific to us because we're on a targeted audience list, right? If we wanted to get out to the masses, we wouldn't turn that off, is what my understanding is.
Yeah, and
So
that does really apply. I would think, if I think about this specifically, unless you are in like the Smokies, where you want to appeal to every single homeowner in the Smokies, which I still think is probably not that
yeah,
wise. You want to focus
you do.
that you will be more than likely advertised into a custom audience where you need to make sure that's turned off.
Yeah, I agree. If you're building a property management or co-hosting business, you're going to want to
Yep.
go the route we're going. And then just to continue on what you were saying, and we've mentioned this before, we're niching down, and some of our ads that we're creating, or some of the ones that I've created, are town specific. So I'm changing the first part of every video is stating the specific town, the Inlet Beach, Rosemary Beach, Seacrest Beach, and then it's the rest of the short form ad. So we had Kimmy and Jerry break down our audiences into where those homes are in which town so that we could specifically target per town. So that's what my ads were doing, were supposed to be doing last week, and the one that I released yesterday.
Yeah. So in other words, if I didn't explain this as well as I can, then in other words, we launched ads that started to be viewed by people we did not want to be viewed. So who knows where they were, but Facebook took it upon themselves because we had Advantage Plus advertising on Advantage Plus audiences. They started sharing that with people we didn't want to see those ads. And how did we learn this? Is again through our accountability group. I asked Dan, who's done this before, one of our accountability partners, Dan Colonhe, who we're going to have on as a guest, is doing fantastic as a co-host in the North Charlotte area around Lake Norman. And he's done it before. So we simply asked him to review our account. And the thing that stuck out to him, and there's two learnings we got out of this discussion with Dan this morning. The first one was he looked at our reach, and our reach showed him, I mean, instantly, Jeremy, when that it was
Yeah.
wild when he saw it. He just instantly knew that was wrong. And
It
the
was too
way he
big.
knew that,
It was too
huh?
big. It was too
It
much of
was
a
too big.
reach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we told him, he asked us, he was like a doctor today. We were like on the examination table. He started talking to us about our symptoms, but first he asked, how big is your audience? And luckily we knew that. We said it's about 1,900 people. That's the entire audience along 38. Now, in Jeremy's case, Jeremy would answer with each of the communities, it might be 100 to 250, right?
Right.
Like it's
Yeah, it's
just
gonna be way less.
1/11 of all those.
Yeah.
But when he saw that the reach was like 4,000 people, he instantly knew Scott, and he he had us go into our campaign and he looked and he saw the things we had to toggle off or we had to switch. And now we're dialed into only talking to those people. And that was a big, big learning this morning.
Yeah, agreed. I think now we're set in the right direction.
Yeah, and the
So the
other thing he
value, the
taught
value
us
in that accountability group is priceless, right?
it's unbelievable. And the other thing he taught us today that isn't necessarily something we needed to do today, but he talked to us about frequency. The thing he wanted to convey to us today is now that we've got our ads correct, that when we start serving them to only the audience we want to show it to, don't go past a frequency of, he said, about 3 to 4 is what he said. He said he thinks what that means, for those of you who don't know what that means, is that he doesn't want his ads, his content being shown to the same person more than 3 or 4 times, because he thinks at that point you're starting to annoy the person. What he advocates for is you just drop in new content, share new content with them.
Yeah, and I think he's right. I mean, you get hit with the same stuff sometimes, and you just, at that point, you're just scrolling past them. So I think he's spot on. And I think you had said the thing that you know how to do is to automatically turn off that ad when it gets to that certain frequency, which will be powerful. Otherwise, we're just trying to monitor it ourselves, and I'm sure things would slip through.
Not only will we be able to salvage a little bit of what we've done, but what we will do when we create our next audience, which is only people who watch this video at least 25%. Remember, we've had this ads running for these videos that we have to people we don't want seeing them. But what we'll do when we create our audience, we'll say we only want people who have watched 25% of this video from this date. And then we can eliminate the things that happened earlier and the people we don't want to see it that watched it before we made these changes.
Right.
All right. So that's what happened this week. And that is, I think, going to be instrumental to us.
Yeah. Right. You know? And I think last week we had said maybe we would share what that reach was looking like, but maybe it doesn't really make sense based on the audience you were going to. So maybe we punt on that next week. We see how we did, and and hopefully, we got some people to watch all the way through and bring them into the next campaign.
Yeah, and you and I made a kind of a decision together today. So I brought it up, but I think you kind of agreed to it. I think September is the month where we start really applying a KPI of how many leads do we get this month, and it needs to be better than 0, right? Yeah. So like. It has been 0 because we've been learning the market and doing. I'll be in the market in October. Right. So to have leads in September will obviously be extremely valuable to us because maybe I can take some action on those leads.
Yep. For sure.
Right. So how did what learnings did you have this week and all that?
Oh man. I mean, obviously this Facebook ads stuff was all new to me. So everything there was a learning experience. And I'm glad now that I know how to do it. Right. So I can kind of take the burden of you posting my ads off of your shoulders and complete that every week. And honestly, just going through the STR secret stuff, there is some really good learning lessons in a lot of their classes, and also their webinars. One of the guys, literally pulled up his actual P&L, from his co-hosting business and went through it line by line in one of his webinars, one of his weekly coaching recordings. And that was pretty powerful to me and to what we're going to be doing going forward once we start having some clients. And then the whole Notion thing, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a heavy lift to really learn it. But I think once we're there, it's going to be powerful for us. So I'm excited for that.
It does. I respect you in how much you look at things in order before you make a decision on something. It feels like to me, this Notion thing has got you leaning so hard that it's so compelling that this looks like the answer, right? Unless you see something that's a real deal maker.
I think it's this or staying with the Google Drive, right?
Yeah.
I know there are companies that are out there that are successful using Google Drive. I just think the functionality of Notion, the search capabilities, and just everything about it really is an advantage over Google Drive. We will have to use it to store some stuff and link it into Notion. But it seems like the tool that will really allow us to grow to, if that's 50 units, right? And maybe we decide, at scale at 50, when we get there, that actually we have this down pretty well. We're organized, and maybe we can go a little bit bigger, right? And maybe
Yeah.
that's what Notion helps to allow us to do. Um, so yeah, no, I think it's going to be Notion. This course is probably going to take me a few months to get through, which is fine. We'll keep using the Google Drive until it's time to make the switch. Um, One of the things I was thinking about doing today was kind of just talking through our Google Drive. Should
Yeah.
I hop into that?
Yeah. Let's go through that for a couple minutes, and then
Yeah.
we can call it a day. I think this one, sometimes our episodes go long. I think we've got a lot to say. I think this is one that we can probably get through in 5-10 minutes or whatever, talking about the playbook, and then we can call it an episode.
Yeah, no, I agree. We'll try and keep this one short and sweet. And the reason why I'm touching on this one is because when I started Your Vacay House in the Poconos in 2022, I had just gone through the Legends X coaching program. And one of the reasons why I ended up doing that program was because my business partner in the Poconos, Tom, and I had no systems, right? We were the side gig, short-term rental operators. We had our full-time and the side gig, which is still what I'm doing, but no systems. We kind of were texting each other. Are you going to do this? Am I going to do that? And I wanted to start the property management company, and I didn't know really how to build my systems and how to keep them all in one place. And one of the things that I got out of Legends X was using the Google Drive playbook. So I'll go ahead. I'll share my screen here real quick and then just talk through it. But essentially it's your knowledge hub. So we actually at AltVer created a few different playbooks. We have a marketing and sales playbook, a guest experience, client relations playbook, and an operations playbook. In Notion, I think it's all going to be in one. But we felt like this made sense. You're going to be really focused on marketing. We're going to do some sales together. I'm really focused on operations, and there's going to be some crossover on guest experience and client relations. But everything lives within the playbook, and within the playbook, there are file folders. So every playbook has a brainstorming and thoughts folder where if there's something you're working on, you can save it there. There's a templates document. So this could be your contracts, the template that you use when you're onboarding a new property, systems document. So this is anything that you're working on consistently, almost on a daily basis. Reference documents. So this is going to be once you have your property onboarded and filled out all the information, it becomes a reference document, and you can check and see, all the aspects about the property. And then SOPs, which are a sequence of procedures. What are the step-by-step directions to completing a certain task? So the documents live within these folders. We have drafted templates for Google Docs and Google Sheets. But then really where everything lives is within this Google Playbook, which is a Google Sheet. And within the Google Sheet, you've got your references listed out. You've got your sequence of procedures, your systems, your templates. They're all different tabs within this one Google Sheet. And what you can do if you're in the Google Sheet is can do Control F and say we wanted to find our 100-day funnel, right? I can just type in 100-day, and I can see here that the 100-day social media marketing plan that we put together is our reference document 0028. So essentially, everything lives here. What you can do is you plug in the title into the name column of the playbook, and you put in your ID number. So if it's a reference doc, it's an R number 00 something. SOP doc would be SOP number something. And then what you do is you link the actual document to that reference number. So here I'm just going to open one of the scripts that we have for common revenue management mistakes. It's R0013. I hover over that and then click it, populates, and now you're quickly over to your document. So instead of going into a file and trying to search and find the document within a folder, it's easier and quicker to grab it and find it and locate it within the Google Playbook. So this is what allowed me to create Your Vacay House, because I was able to build the systems, store them here, and my virtual assistant, Anna, was able to take the SOPs and the reference documents that I had built to do the tasks that I had assigned to her. So this is what we're using at the moment for AltVer as we're building. But like I said, the goal is going to be probably move over to Notion. And maybe once that's up and running, I'll do another one a little bit more in depth and just explain the differences of, using the system of Google Drive versus what we're doing in Notion.
So if you've listened to this on Spotify or somewhere where you're just listening it to an audio, I would say that it's been particularly helpful for you to have shared your screen. So if you
Yeah.
want to rewatch this, it's at the end of this episode, so you can fast forward to the end. But what you should do is either go to our YouTube channel, Market My STR YouTube channel. It's actually Market My Co, and it's Market My STR falls in within the Market My Co channel. So that might be a distinction I might not have alerted people to in the past, but you can also go to our public Market My STR Facebook page where we also publish the full episode. And then again, just scroll to this point towards the end of our episode
Yep.
and you'll see Jeremy walk through, because I think the visuals do matter in this case.
It does. Yeah. And that might be the case in a bunch of these, like kind of deep dive tutorial things that we do about the business, where we're going to do our best to talk through it, but the visual of how this is laid out and how things link together is super helpful for sure.
Yeah, man. Powerful. All right. Well, the foundation's dry, Jeremy, on Alt Vera. Now we got to build the house.
Right. We're ready.
Let's go.
Let's go find them.
I appreciate everybody listening in on this episode. This is number 7 in the books. We'll see you next week for 8. I don't know whether we'll have a guest, but we will have a couple guests, guys who are really a lot farther along than we are in terms of in their market established. Jeremy is far along. Jeremy's done this for 5 years, but in terms of getting it into our market where we want with the clients we want, obviously we're just starting our journey. So thanks a lot for participating, Jeremy. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Scott. Talk
Take
soon.
care.
See ya.